Every day I search in spite of me. Every day I search for what I cannot see. Every day I search for you. Every day I search for the truth. Just can't help falling in love with you. More with everything you do. Speak and the mountains tremble with fear. And at the sound of your voice, I know you are near, be near to me. Every day I long deep inside of me. Every day I long for what's plain to see. Every day I long to be with you. Every day I long for the truth. Just can't help falling in love with you.
Hello and welcome to the Ecclesian House. I'm Pastor Nooms, and Pastor Bill
And I'm Pastor Bill.
is having
I'm
color issues.
I'm
You
here.
just hardcore yelled that into the mic. You bounced
Sorry.
all the way into the red. That suit jacket does nothing for your color polo.
Dang.
Pastor Nooms fixed his color this week. He's the correct color again because I found the setting in OBS that I had messed up. And it's not OBS's fault. I found the setting I had messed up. So,
Biggs is here. Yay!
but his blue shirt is throwing off his color and making him red. And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen because Teams has no adjustment for it. And I'm currently doing a I love how Zadie just says Pastor Bill has a red hue while I'm saying Pastor Bill has a red hue because of his blue shirt, and she doesn't love me enough to notice what I'm saying. And I want to act like there's not a delay in chat, and that's the real reason.
What? There's a delay in chat?
So I'm wearing not a blue shirt, but I'm wearing a barbecue shirt from your area of town.
Your area? Who you are you talking to?
Yours.
Me?
This is Real Texas Barbecue. Do you think it's near me?
Oh, okay, I see.
This is a Rudy shirt. So.
Is it a red shirt or an orange shirt?
It's red.
Oh, it looks orange.
It does. It does. But at least my carpet doesn't look red. Just saying. I'm all kinds of washed out, let's be honest. I always am. See there? There's the right colors.
How do you guys like me now?
But the funny thing is me sharing my camera out to the world and me sharing my camera to you.
Red. Oh, I'm so red.
What gets sent to you via Teams and the virtual camera, it actually looks terrible after you shared your screen and showed it to me. If you actually look at what goes out from here, it looks so much better than, oh, please don't do that. I hate that. I hate people that do that. It never looks right. You know, technically.
Why is there no way to fix the color balance?
Technically, I probably could over here. But then next week I'd have to completely change it again.
Yeah, you have to change it back. So now we know, don't wear this shirt when we go live. Unless if I sit here
there
like
you go. Yeah, up a little. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's good. You just got to talk like this.
Like put my arms like this. Cross my arms in front of my chest.
This week, we were discussing, in order to, you just got to look like a bouncer the whole time, and we'll be fine.
Who summoned Shazam?
No. Oh, okay, you went there. Okay, I thought you were going somewhere else that's not appropriate, but going Shazam route, that was okay. That was okay. I was like, oh, and wow, because it's making it red, it's making your teeth yellow when you smiled, even though your teeth aren't, because they're not real teeth. They're white.
I mean, yeah.
That is weird.
That's weird. Absolutely bizarre.
Oh, the human eye and how we view colors and how computers try to mimic, even though they're actually...
the human eye just can't.
And they're actually better, and that's the problem. Is Anyanka still going to come hang out? We had a couple Anyanka sightings earlier in our pre-meeting.
I think she's still in here. I just don't know where she is.
She straight up jumped up and climbed the carpet behind Pastor
and just like climbed over. Whoa!
Meowing the whole time like, "Hey Dad, I found something new."
I found something new to do. I'm gonna jump up over this thing.
So, how was your week? No, that's reverse. Go ahead.
That's reverse. So, how was your week, Pastor Nooms?
So my week was really bad.
Uh-oh.
I have this one friend that's a huge jerk, right?
Is this me? Am I the jerk?
What? will you wait for the story?
Okay, I'll wait for
You
the
can't
story.
assume you're the jerk. It's rude.
I
So,
mean, it's kind of jerkish thing to do, isn't it?
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Um, uh, so this jerk of a friend of mine, forced
Jerk.
me by gunpoint to download
At
this
gunpoint.
new game that that Mr. Biggs has already stated where this is going. Has
Star
gotten
Trek.
me to play this Star Trek game. And like I don't like Star Trek that much, so like I don't even know these characters. Everyone's like, this person's great because of the series and this and I'm going.
You,
And
you
I'm
know
like,
that one character that I had no idea was who
oh
he was?
yes, that was interesting.
You were
So-
like, wait a second, this is this person. And I was like, who? What are you talking about? And you pulled the picture, and I was like,
So there's, we'll get to that in a second. So I started playing this
Okay.
game, and like I play a lot of games. We all know
Yeah, he
this.
does.
My
So
work
many
my
games.
work computer is right here. You can see my work computer. I can tap it. I can tap my work computer.
But I mean, it's part of your calling, is the gospel for gamers stuff. So
yeah, I like
you kind of have
games.
to be a gamer in order to take the gospel to the gamers.
So and it was funny because I was sharing my screen as Pastor Bill is teaching me to play this game. And someone was like, "Are you actually a pastor? I have questions." And it was like, "Oh, all right, cool." And
Alright.
And Bill's like, that doesn't happen to me when I'm." And I'm like, yeah. It's different. It works that way for me. It always has. Like, but anyway, who knows? We might actually get a couple new people because I shared this with a whole new server of people, and so we might have some of them drop by, and we'll see if they do. We never know. So I started playing this game, and one day this week I realized I had sat the entire day and done nothing but played this Star Trek game that's not supposed to be like an all-day thing for me. It was supposed to be, hey, I'm going to start this just to kind of be closer to Bill and have something else in common, which really, really irritates me because like 2 or 3 times in life this has happened. Like where I'm like, oh, I'll just watch this so I can talk to him about it. And now I'm going, season 5 starts in like a month. No, well, Doctor Who was a little different because Dad had always talked about Doctor Who also, so I knew it.
Okay.
But like
You had a primer.
Rick and Morty, the View Askew universe, you know, all these things that I was just like, I'm never really gonna. I'll just watch it so he. And Zadie, which is funny, because she's known him longer than I've known him, and longer than I've known her, and so then she but she hates all these things. Like we watched the trailer for season 5 of Rick and Morty, and she was just like, "There's so much in 2 minutes. I can't even." I can't. This is so. This is it. Was that really 2 minutes? And you're like, yeah, I know.
can't even.
So I started playing this game, and I've played way too much of it, and I have not spent much money.
Much money.
I am not a whale. I am more of a dolphin. And we could talk about
At least
that
you're
later.
not a kraken.
At least I'm not a crap. I don't buy everything that the store offers me. I probably. Pastor Bill has someone in his alliance that buys thousands of dollars worth of this game every week, which is insane.
Almost every day.
Which is funny because as someone I was watching on YouTube that Pastor Bill got me watching, special thanks to the Krakens, because the Krakens are what keep this game going. Because
Absolutely.
they pay the they're the people that pay the company to then keep it going for the rest of us. So thank you.
It's a freemium game. It's
Yeah.
not a.
It's not a.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's fully pay to win. It's more pay to be the best, but it's
Yeah.
not pay to win. Because you can still continue to win at the game. You can still continue to progress.
If you're
without-
if you're patient and committed, you can
Um,
grow and become as powerful as the whales. Um, Maybe the krakens eventually one day after you retire.
when they get old and die. Um,
After they die, then you'll get to their level.
um, but yeah, so it's interesting to I've played a ton of it. There's a character in it. I'll put his name in chat so that way you can that's his name in the game. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, wait, that's DJ Aoki. And I'm like, Billiam, do you know this person? And yeah, he's a little broken. He's a decent character though, but he doesn't. I don't know if he's from Star Trek overall. Yeah, he's there. I was like, okay, let me Google this for you, since you don't know. And so I typed this into Google, and he goes, "Oh, that's that guy." So DJ Aoki is a famous DJ that I guess really likes Star Trek, and they used him as part of the launch of this game initially, and he is in the game, and it's straight up like it's the first image. They slimmed down, which when he was earlier in his career he was thinner. They slimmed down the first image in Google. They made him a little skinnier, which if you're going to put me in a video game, I would like to be a little skinnier. So
Yeah.
I'm not arguing with that.
I would also like to be a character whose abilities actually work, but yes, that's a sidebar. That's beside the point. I think
it's partially obvious that DJ Aoki probably doesn't actively play anymore, if he ever did, because if he did, he would probably be very upset that his stuff doesn't work. So that's pretty much my whole week. Has been playing that and getting farther in that game. And one of my favorite games, one of my top 100 games that I play, because I really am never going to be able to make an actual top 10 list. One of the top 100 released their fourth big update, and it's called Satisfactory. And I'm waiting on one mod to update because it has something in it that it's a quality of life item that I just really need in the game because the developers haven't put it in yet, and they've talked about it, but it's not on the roadmap yet. And so I might be streaming some of that this week. I'm not gonna start streaming the Star Trek because that game is just let's be honest, I don't want to like it. So that's been my week, and work's good. I got several projects I'm working on, and so I've actually been busy. Got a fence.
The fence, yeah.
Big deal. Big deal. Thank you. And it's funny. Biggs had to start typing it when I thought it in order for that to happen right there, where the reason I said fence, he said fench. Which add that to the list, Pastor Bill, of we don't have fences, we got finches.
Finches, chouches.
So these are Biggsisms. Love you, sir. So we Friday night we got a phone call, and it was, "Hey, we had a cancellation. Would you like us to go ahead and come put your fence in tomorrow?" And we were like, sure. So they came yesterday and put our fence in, and my little sister's dog, the little sister's dog, she is loving the fence. She did the zoomies all around it, and when I was grilling this afternoon for the girls, she played with her ball out there for a while, and it was real good. So yeah, kaiju. That's not how you spell it, but okay. I'm not gonna expect Biggs to actually spell a Japanese word correctly, considering he can't spell the English ones right. But that is not how you spell kaiju. Anyway, so that was
Is
my
it
week.
anything like Caillou, like the little kid with leukemia, Caillou?
No, it's kaiju. Yeah, Zadie typed it.
They
It's
got it.
actually the term for Japanese monsters. So,
Hmm.
Godzilla, Mothra, all those, they are kaiju. It is the term for Japanese monsters. It's their
You know,
term.
one of the names I suggested for our new cat was Oni.
A
And
Japanese
nobody
demon.
liked that. Yeah, Japanese demon. Nobody liked that.
Can't.
But they were okay with naming it Anyanka after a vengeance demon from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But they didn't want to just straight name it Oni.
Well, one is obvious. One is you got to be a nerd. Oni has permeated our culture so much. That one's just so obvious to anyone.
So when you typed DJ Aoki, where did you input that information before you hit enter in the chat?
Nowhere.
You typed it in and then hit enter.
Uh-huh.
Where did you do that?
In the Restream chat client?
In the Restream chat client? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it says, Feet Lungbaro says, DJ Aoki.
Oh, you know why? Because I'm in the Restream client and not Pastor Nooms' Twitch. Because when you type into Twitch, it says that I typed it.
Yeah.
So I should...
But see, right now I type into...
Discord. So I will change it to Twitch.
Discord
I will change mine to
myself.
Twitch. I will change it to Twitch so that way it comes through correctly. I am sorry. That is my bad. See, and then I type here. Well, that's because, for you, Zadie, that's because it's coming across on Twitch in and of itself, and so everything we type shows up as Pastor Nooms, whereas we're looking at it from a standpoint of all the 5 places where it's going.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Discord chat, which tells me, you know, where it's coming from and who said it. So for the purposes of going back and looking at the chat later, we need it to say, you know, on Twitch, Big said this, or on, you know, Pastor Bill said this, or on Twitch, Pastor Nooms said this, or... So can you type something in the Twitch one right quick?
I did. I typed the word Twitch.
It didn't come through on the...
Yeah, it only sent it to Twitch for some reason.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
You gonna balance my colors for me, Anyanka?
She's not big enough. It didn't
not
balance.
big enough. You're too small.
She does have enough. She does have enough black in her that it sent your video to crap because your camera's trying to focus on it and can't because it doesn't know what it's trying to focus on. So you went all pixelated.
Hey.
Oh, she's so cute. Oh, she's so
Hey.
cute.
Hey.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't own a cat and doesn't know this, a cat's paws
Did you blur the screen? How did you blur the screen?
will actually pick up as fingers because of the size of them. One of my cats will at night reach down and touch my phone while I'm trying to do stuff and like send messages and change things I'm doing in a game, and you're just like, because their little pads act as fingertips.
At least you don't sleepwalk and play the game while you're sleepwalking like that person on your alliance does.
Yes.
Okay.
Me
Put you down.
and Billiam found out yesterday that there's a person in my alliance who will sleep chat. She sleepwalks, and if she falls asleep with her phone in her hand, she will play the game in her sleep. Because we were out somewhere and her ship was just doing like this in a circle. And then she says something that is not English in any form, and
Certainly not proper English.
then like an hour later, she was like, I fell asleep with my phone. I've put it down now.
I spent $5 million dilithium somewhere.
Yeah, I
I don't know.
I don't know what I've done.
I probably donated it to the Alliance. I don't know what happened.
So yeah,
I wonder what her iTunes bills look like.
well, you know those funny things you can watch on YouTube where it's like I
Yeah.
bought this in my sleep, you know.
Yeah. I wonder what I bought myself.
And so you know there's people out there that do it, but it's one of those where you're like, is it real? And then you meet someone who actually, and you're like, oh, okay, no, it really, like, she
Yeah.
really wants to be part of the stream tonight.
Yeah, she does. She wants to play is what she wants. See her?
Yeah.
She wants to play.
So how was your week, Pastor Bill?
She was like, no, don't take the hand away. Hey, what? You want to play that badly? Huh? Calm down. Yeah, she's a pretty demon. Yeah, aren't you? My little Anyanka. Yeah, my little Anyanka. My week was pretty good. What?
Oh. Yep. Nope. That's how you get yeeted. There's no hissing when during playtime. Because that is not playtime no more.
Nope. Yeah. So we got that guy in our alliance, the Kraken guy. He leveled up to the highest level in the game this week, and it was like 1,000 days to upgrade your operations building, and we were all like, "What? Over 3 years to upgrade your?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then he waited until he got all his helps in from other alliance members, and then he started dropping money, buying in-game currency so he could speed it up and finish it off within like 5 hours. It was insane.
Really makes you wonder what some of these people do for a living. Because, like, I got a good job, but I got a family, and I'm like, what do you do?
He either makes a whole lot of money and has no expenses, or he's a scammer of some kind, and that's how he pays for the game. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't go that route. I met, and we've had this conversation before. I know a person in DFW, and she's a lawyer, and she's single lawyer, and well, she was 10 years ago, but she played Facebook.
Single white female lawyer?
No, actually.
Sorry, Futurama reference.
I know. It was a single black lady lawyer, but that's okay. So she would come down.
For me, I was just quoting Futurama.
I know. I was just joking. So she would come down from her top level in the Wells Fargo Tower office. She'd come down into the lobby and be like, "Here, I need you to move $200 from this account to this account." And you're like, okay. Like the first time I saw her, I was like, all right, like cool, no problem. And then I look at the account while I'm moving money over, and it's just Facebook,
Yeah.
Facebook, incoming money from transfer, Facebook.
She was playing Mafia.
Facebook. Yeah, she was playing that Mafia game, and something would happen, and she would, and because she was,
don't you diss my mom?
yeah,
My mom.
and me and Billiam were talking. I really wonder what mobile game she landed on, because
Right.
you know she did at some point. And
I think she calls herself Red Cleon Queen now.
No.
I don't know.
no, wrong time zone. Wrong time zone. But she would drop. If a big thing came out, it would be common for her to end up coming down 2 or 3 times a day, $100 at a time. And I mean, she had the money.
Yeah.
But she, that was her entertainment. That's what she spent her money on. She drove a decent car. She had a great office, and she very successful law practice, and liked to, gank people in a mafia game on the side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really, it's funny, some of the people you run into in your past, when you think about them, that's been crap. That was, I mean, Greg was a baby, so that's been, Zoe wasn't even born yet, so it's been over 11 years ago, because...
Yeah, I mean, Greg's 14 now.
Yeah, because Zadie had I worked there for over a year, and Zadie had rain while I worked there. So it's got to be 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to look back and you're like, where did those people land? Like, where are some of those people that you interacted with on a daily basis for a year? And you're like, where did they end up? But that's a side note. I'm sorry. I sidetracked. My brain has been a little fuzzy since I got my first round of the vaccine, and
Yeah, and that thing kicked your butt.
it has kicked my butt. I slept a bunch yesterday. I've slept almost all day today. And not all of us, Biggs, stalk all humans we've ever met via Google and Facebook nowadays.
Oh, goggle.
And Zadie can't sleep. She has the some people get this side effect where they can't sleep. And she's tried to sleep and hasn't been able to sleep. My coworker had the same issue. He messaged me at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is 4 a.m. his time. Like, hey, I haven't slept yet. I'm gonna need you to run the stuff today. And I'm like, I freaked out. I was like, why is he messaging me at 6 a.m.? Like, he should not be awake, So, then when he said I haven't slept yet, I'm like, oh crap. And he's not like a go out person, so it's not like you're like, yeah, right, the vaccine,
Yeah.
So it's crazy how different these vaccine shots are affecting everyone. But yeah.
Did you see one of the plans that China reportedly implemented was they captured a bunch of mosquitoes and injected mosquitoes with the vaccine, and then released the mosquitoes into the countryside so that when they would go and then feed on humans, it would inject them with the vaccine. That was one of the programs that China implemented in order to vaccinate all of their population.
That doesn't work in so many levels.
I'm just telling you what I read in this news report.
Because you can't control dosage at that point. You can't control... I really hope that was fake news. I really, really hope.
I don't know. It seemed legit, man. I don't know.
I'm not saying it doesn't sound like something even our government would do. They got a
lot of people over there.
Yeah. They got a lot of peeps. What? Die what? Die ain't got no peeps. They got a lot of peeps. I ain't got no peeps. We don't got no peeps.
You got some peeps. You got your wife and your 2 daughters and your sister and your pets.
Are pets peoples though? Yeah.
We didn't say peoples. We said peeps.
Peeps are peoples. That's just short for people.
No. Peeps are little marshmallows shaped like rabbits covered in granulated sugar.
30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. I need to go kick his butt.
Ain't gonna take you more than 30 seconds to get here for that.
It's true. I do treat my animals like they're people. It's really bad.
Yeah, you do.
Like Tina, like the girls will need something in the middle of the night, and I'm like, you guys just go to bed. Like, this is ridiculous. The cat makes too much noise at night. I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? What do you need? Tina's like, what the? And I'm like, well, because
Zadie's all down. Zadie's 100% down for a road trip to kick my butt.
She would.
She's
at
like,
any
it's
point,
just 12 hours.
At any point, she's up for a road trip. Just because she loves to do it. And the thing about Zadie would do all the driving, too. Zadie would be like, you sleep, I'll drive. And then magically we get there in like 9. And you're like, And that's true, too. I really do. I'm like, hey, baby, can you go see what Mr. Amy needs?
That's great.
So.
All right. So I think we're fully warmed up.
According to your
So-
color, you've been warmed up since we started. Because it looks like you've ran a marathon over there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, look, it's the right color now. We've upset him. He's left. I think the cat needed out. Do 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 do. So this week on the Ecclesian House, we talked about a podcast, and then I talked so much crap he changed shirts. Wow. I talked so much crap he changed his shirt.
My earbud. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Now you're back. And you messed your hair up. You look tired now. He gonna get me, guys. At about 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna hear ding dong. Hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Do you feel more comfortable in your merch shirt? Oh, he can't hear us yet. He's trying to switch earbuds. Look out.
What is going on?
Uh-oh, his earbuds are dead, y'all. He's dead, Jim. So, while Pastor Bill fixes his technical issues, I would just like to say that technical issues get on my nerves because we can't easily fix them, and that frustrates me because life should be easy and it ain't. So,
And it ain't.
And it ain't. Why you gotta do the blurry thing again?
I didn't. That is bizarre. I didn't even touch my phone. I don't know why it went blur.
I don't know, man. I blame it on the kitty.
On the kick. All right, is that better? Is my coloring right now? And
It is. So did I really bully you into changing your shirt?
Bully?
Yeah, did I bully you into
I
changing your shirt?
wouldn't use the word bully.
Okay.
What are we, in high school?
Well, I yelled until you changed shirts, so it felt like I bullied you, and I felt bad.
Did you?
A
You
little.
shouldn't. You shouldn't feel bad. We're good. Big says he's mean to you. That's how I know he loves me. That's his love language.
It really is. No matter how sad that is, it is true.
All right. So this week on the podcast, we talked about fear and focus, right? Where is your focus? Is your focus on fear, or is your focus on the gospel and on living up to eternity, right? So I know you have all of the my brain
Left Behind.
Left Behind books, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have all the Left Behind books, but you don't have them as theological study texts, right?
No, definitely not. They are riddled with inaccuracies because they are Christian fiction.
They are Christian written fiction. I personally think they're more in the horror category.
Well, the bad thing about Christian novels, they don't typically in bookstores actually split their stuff up by genre. They just have
They should.
Christian nonfiction and Christian fiction, um, and that's how my bookcases are actually set up. And they are on my Christian fiction section because they are not theological study. They are false written, and some of the points that they stretch, not elaborate. Hey, you be quiet, old man. Just because I don't have bookcases yet. Fine, they're in my book boxes marked Christian fiction. Punk.
Before you moved, they were in bookcases
Makes me
along
sad.
the wall.
Makes me sad.
You know,
He talks about how I'm mean to you, and then he wonders where I get it when he's laughing at me for the fact that I don't have bookcases. Anyway.
it's a learned trait, sir. It's
Yeah.
a learned trait.
So, they are right next to my Frank Peretti. They're right next to my, which to be clear, my Frank Peretti fiction stuff because he did write some nonfiction. And same with my Ted Decker. And so, yeah, there are some liberties taken. Some of the liberties that the author took, I understand from a sake of literary liberties. Like,
Yeah.
some of the stuff we don't know, so you've got to. Some of the stuff I have to chalk up to misunderstanding from, as you mentioned, the 80s when eschatology became real big in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Mhm.
And sadly, some of the eschatology, which is the term for those people, eschatology is the term of study of the end times, or whatever the actual wording is, but that's what it's used for. A lot of them are based in, as Billiam said, fear, and based in inaccuracies of not understanding, looking at it from their lenses and those inaccuracies. And sadly, those inaccuracies have continued to be pushed forward through people who have not studied, who are just studying other people's work, not studying the
Right.
Bible.
And we were just to shift the conversation a little bit. You and I were talking yesterday about denominations and how it's not necessarily that denominations are bad, but it's that we allow denominations to separate us from other believers.
Mhm.
That is bad, right? And the problem with books such as Left Behind is they're written from this myopic point of view, this nearsighted point of view, where, okay, I see the world through a conservative evangelical viewpoint. So when I translate the Bible and write this work of fiction, I'm going to write it from a conservative evangelical point of view. Is it going to be all encompassing? Is it going to be really accurate? No. And you could say the same thing if you said it was written from a Catholic viewpoint, or if it was written from a Baptist viewpoint, or if it was written from a Mormon viewpoint. Not that I think Mormonism is a denomination. I think Mormonism steps a little bit over that boundary of just being a different denomination. Can you love Jesus and be a saved Christian and still be raised in a Mormon community? Absolutely. Can you love Jesus and be saved and still be living in Thailand? Absolutely. It's not a question of the environment you're in and what the religion is around you. It's a question of your internal relationship with the Lord. So I don't ever want anybody to think that I think because you love God in a different way than I do, that I think that means you don't have salvation. Salvation is an internal thing between you and God. But back to what I'm saying, anything you write from your little viewpoint of religion is going to have that problem of being myopic. It's going to be from your point of view. It's not necessarily going to be from the point of view of all believers. And so we have this same issue here with these books that were written for entertainment. They were written to cause fear in the name of entertainment, but they were written from a conservative evangelical point of view about the end times as told in Revelations, right? And so
Hmm.
what ended up happening, at least in my communities, where people were grabbing a hold of these and they were going, this is what's going to happen. This is a
Yeah.
God-inspired, we're basically taking the book of Revelations and we're like zooming in on it. This is what this is.
Yeah.
This is filling in the blanks. And I bought into that whole, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, hey, I want to know what's going to happen in the end times. I want to know what's going on here. And so it kind of snowballed into this thing where it wasn't anymore being used for what it was intended for. It was being elevated to something that it wasn't supposed to be. And instead of being this entertainment of fear, because, we watch scary movies, we read scary books, it's an entertainment genre, it became this addendum to the gospel, right? And it led to all of these spin-offs and movies and video games. I was reading about the video games, and they received a lot of flack from conservative Christians in the video games because you're in the Lord's army, and you have weapons, and you can use your weapons to shoot non-believers. But when you use your weapon to shoot non-believers, you don't get any points in the game. You only get points in the game when you pray for the non-believers and they come over to your side. And that's how you get points in the game, and you win the game is by praying, using the power of prayer. But you have weapons and you can shoot the non-believers. And so it was just this funny thing.
I'm glad I was not exposed to that, because that would have probably tainted me even more towards the side of what the world.
Yeah. So when we're talking about fear and focus, okay, what those books ended up doing is creating a focus in the area of fear. And I'm just using this as an example because we have it as an example to use. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and read those books. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy those books.
Right.
I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. I'm not saying the people who wrote them don't deserve to get paid for their work. That's not the conversation we're having.
They are decent books. They're not.
Well, they're more than decent. They're entertaining. They are straight up entertaining fiction books.
I mean, literary. I would classify them as decent.
I wouldn't call them masterpieces, no.
But they're not bad. We have a lot more books that are bad. So we're not. I'm not saying you're not saying. These are bad books. It's the problem of taking them to the next level and elevating them past what they are, which is a work of fiction.
Right. And it's just a good example for us to point to say this happened, just to give you an example of what we're talking about. So it created this focus that was on fear. And Jesus talks we're going to jump down in the podcast to where we talked about Matthew chapter 6, and I'll go ahead and read verses 22 through 24. It says, the eye is the lamp of the whole body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. So if the light within you is darkness, how deep is that darkness?
Real quick, you read verse 23.
Oh, I'm sorry. 22 through 23.
I got real confused because I'm looking at 24 going, wait, that's not what he just said.
Sorry. I read 22 through 23.
Okay.
That's what I read.
Yes.
Okay. Now, here, and I kind of broke it down as far as what we can understand it to mean, and we're going to talk about that here as well. But basically, what we have here is a failure of a cultural shorthand trying to be translated into a language that doesn't have that cultural shorthand. Okay. So in our understanding, we're basically talking about when you have a flashlight and you're in pitch dark and you shine the flashlight and you shine it in a spot, right? And you're heading towards that spot, you're heading in the right way. You're living in a healthy way. You're traveling in a healthy way, right? But if you're shining that flashlight over here and then you're walking over this way, so you're shining the flashlight to your right, but you're walking to your left, then you have an unhealthy way. You're stepping into the darkness while the light is shooting somewhere else, and you can't see where you're going. And if you think that's okay, then how bad actually are you that you think walking off into the darkness where you can fall and die and be attacked by a beast is better than walking into the light of the flashlight where you can see where you're going, where you can see that it's safe, where you can see that you're going to succeed. So it's a statement of basically, don't be a moron, you idiot. You choose to where to shine the flashlight and then walk into it. You decide what is good and pursue good. You decide what is bad and don't pursue bad. It's one of these statements. That's kind of what this statement is. You need to decide. Are you going to go after what you know is good, or are you going to abandon what you know is good and go after what you know is bad? And if you think it's good to go after what's bad, then how lost are you? How dark are you? How stupid are you that you look at something that's going to kill you and you go, yeah, I think that's a good choice for me. I think, a slow, painful death is good for me. That sounds good. Let's do that. And we have people that choose that every day. People that are smoking themselves to death. People that are drinking themselves to death. Not that a drink every now and again for a non-alcoholic is bad. Not that a cigarette or a cigar now and then is necessarily bad. Now, I got to tell you, commercial cigarettes that you can just buy over the counter, that's bad for you. There's tar and rat poison and all kinds of stuff in there that you don't want in your body. So, yeah, that's bad. But if you can go find, a cigarette that's made more like a cigar, but the size of a cigarette, having a smoke it like what's that one thing? Clove cigarettes?
Illegal.
If you want to smoke a clove cigarette every now and then,
They're illegal now.
they're illegal now?
Oh,
If you wanted to smoke a clove cigarette before they became illegal, now and then again,
what you're looking for is something like
then
an
that would be
American
fine.
spirit. The American spirits that are made in more of the ideology of the Native American pure wrapped tobacco.
There you go.
That's what you're talking about.
That's what you want.
Not that I used to smoke extremely heavily or anything.
Well, I don't smoke. I could, I enjoy a good cigar. I could tell you more about cigars than I can cigarettes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to just, you wouldn't go to the store and buy rat poison in order to give your cereal a better flavor every morning and expect to live into your 80s because it's rat poison. It's going to be poisoning you. Right? I mean, that's pretty, unless you're messed up in the head, you're not using rat poison to change the flavor of your cornflakes every morning, expecting to live into your 80s.
One would hope.
One would hope. And so that's what we're dealing with. And the same thing is true with our example from before, with the Left Behind books. People picked up these books and inadvertently, okay, in this case, they didn't intentionally do it, but they allowed those books to turn their flashlight, right? They had the Bible, and then they got these books, and they decided these books were a good addendum to the Bible, and they turned their focus off of what the Bible's message is and on to the fear of what these other books inspired in them. And then we ended up getting, doomsday prepper, popping up in the conservative Christian area because they were afraid. And we ended up calling every politician under the sun the Antichrist. And people ended up being afraid to do this, afraid to do that. And even now, we have conservative Christians that are still afraid that the government is preparing them for the Antichrist, preparing them to be subservient to this one world government that is coming. And can we just drop the BS and just be honest? The book of Revelation says we're going to be like lambs to the slaughter. I don't understand all this. We got to fight the power, and they're trying to take away our Christian rights. And if you really believe all the stuff in Revelations is going to happen, and you already know what your role is going to be, I know it might sound kind of fatalistic, but why all the fret, and why all the preparation to fight back, and why all the warnings about the mark of the beast and all this stuff? What is all this focus? It's shining your flashlight in the wrong place. It really is.
Well, and looking at the standpoint of what should we truly be focused on. So we look at certain books and certain, like you mentioned, the preppers. When you look at them from a standpoint of when you look at them from a standpoint of what Revelation says, what we as Christians are supposed to do, and what they're doing. So,
Yeah.
there's never a time in the Bible directly that Christians are called to fight the government.
Right.
Um,
Never.
the Old Testament, the Jews, little different, but that's a different time.
Even most of the New Testament was written while the writers were in chains.
Yeah.
Submitting to the government.
Yep. And just preaching to the people they were submitted to.
Yep.
And so that's always something that it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now saying that, you're much more of a Paul than I am, and I'm much more of a Peter. So I'm probably, if something was to go down,
probably gonna chop somebody's ear off while they're right before they put the handcuffs on you.
Probably going to make a mistake and lose myself for a moment. But the basic of it is you should really be looking at what are we truly called to do as Christians. We're not called to redo the government and to be the government and to fix the government. We're called to pray for our leaders. We're called to pray for the people around us, and we're called to make disciples.
Yep.
So that should be our focus. Our focus should be on educating ourselves, on educating others, and praying. That's it. Should we prepare for disaster? I could see that.
I don't know. When I look in Revelations and I see the people that are faithful to God, it talks about them having their food was provided.
Mm-hmm.
Their clothes don't wear out. The soles of their shoes don't get holes in them, even though they end up walking long distance. There's nothing there that leads me to believe you need to doomsday prep for the events of the Revelations.
Now, I could argue the people that have doomsday prepped, God will use to provide for other people and themselves. because we're not supposed to build a tower without planning first. But I say that to say, we are. It depends on what you're preparing. If you're setting aside canned food that's only going to last 10 years, and you're, if you're setting up a self-sustained house where you're living off of your land and you've set up, I can understand that a little more because you've
got a bunker with AK-47s and billions of rounds of ammo. That's a little overkill for hunting for food, don't you think?
We're not on the same page no more.
No.
Having a rifle and having rounds to hunt for food, having a handgun for the same thing.
If you want an AK-47 because you think it's cool and you want to hunt with that, that's fine by me too.
It's very wasteful,
but
though.
If your intention
you got to be very careful, because if you shoot into the meat and then eat that, you can get sick. That's why you always go for... No, I'm dead. No, I'm actually serious. Like, when you're hunting, you want to one shot, kill it, and you want to make sure that it doesn't have time for that shot to the poison, the metal and the stuff, to get into the meat through the bloodstream. You need a clean kill. I mean, to be honest, that's why you use a high caliber rifle, not, a spray of bullets to make the meat unedible that's actually going to make you sick. Now,
well, you don't want to pull a Back to the Future 3 where you bite into the rabbit and you start spitting out buckshot.
No. Now, will I say shooting an AK-47 at a target is just fun? Yes. Yes. If that is your intention for having it, because it is kind of fun, sure. Makes perfect sense.
But if your intention is the government's coming and we're going to shoot us up some Uncle Sam's, then no.
Yeah, yeah.
We're no longer on the same page at that point.
We're not on the same. And so that's really where it comes down to. Like, personally at the moment, I don't own a gun. It's not because I don't want one. It's just because I don't have one. Lots of my friends do. As Zadie is saying in chat, her uncle and cousins are very, and aunt is very military background. They want us to come to Montana and show us, more about hunting, more about, and skills like that are good to have. Because if we end up having to go into the on the run or something for some reason, personally, I don't want to be a John the Baptist and eat locusts. I would prefer to be a homeboy making his own tents and eating some venison. Personally,
but see, this is the thing, is I have to believe that if the Holy Spirit intended you to run instead of surrender, then that will become painfully aware.
Yeah.
When forces come to arrest you and they are so inept that you just walk away.
Yeah.
And they don't notice. Like Jesus, when they realized he was saying he was the Son of God, and they picked up stones and they were going to throw him off the cliff and stone him to death, and he simply walked through the crowd and walked away. It was painfully obvious whose side the Holy Spirit was on.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really a big key overall. Is what are we doing? What is your motivation?
But if it's not for you to run, and it's not for you to be captured, but for you to be done away with, let's put it that way. Well done, good and faithful.
Yeah.
Your fight's over. It's time to rest.
There's actually a special crown you get for being a
martyr.
For being a martyr. So,
I mean, you're straight up a martyr at that point. You're like the cream of the crop, man.
Yeah, as everyone who knows, I do enjoy jewelry. So, I'm fine with it. But
special crown.
But
Nooms is going to be that glorified body that's going to be like, now I know I threw my crown on the floor here somewhere. I know it's not mine. It's yours. I want to find the one that you gave me and I want to hold on to that for a while.
Can I just get a picture with it real quick? Can I just get a picture with it?
I just want to take a selfie with it, just real quick. And then, you know what? If you want me to, I'll put it back down on the ground at your feet, God. I will. I'll just put it back down.
Would like a selfie. I like jewelry.
But I really like this crown that you specifically made for
me.
It's
I thank you for it, and I'll be taking the selfie as everyone's starting to throw. I'm like, I get it in a second. And you know,
I just want to get an action shot.
Just action shot. Okay, here, you know.
Did that boy really manifest himself a camera?
I didn't even know we had Polaroids up here. Frame it and then give that to him too, just in case you wanted that.
I'm all like, we just got here and he's living like we've been here for 1,000 years or something. I don't understand what's going on.
And I've got 14 dogs, 17 cats just chilling with.
Where did he get all these pets? I don't understand what's going on.
What the?
Oh, we're being silly.
We are being silly. We are now doing what some people do of adding to the gospel, but we're doing it for entertainment purposes. We don't actually 100% condone what we're saying. It's entertainment purposes. And
Biggs wants a tiger.
Biggs is rolling around in his skinnier self riding a tiger and a bear, you know.
No. He's riding a tiger and the tiger's riding a bear. We call it the big stack.
The big stack. Big dude with a rifle on top of a tiger, on top of a bear, running through a forest, looking all.
Bears on roller skates.
Bears on roller. All right, I think we need to get focused again. We have officially sidetracked a smidge.
Okay. So, the episode we just talked about was episode 24.
Yes, which isn't confusing at all. I don't know why you did this.
Episode 23 is coming out tonight. Because there was some switcheroo played on me, you know, without me knowing, behind the scenes. So actually, it already came out 6 minutes ago. And you can see the video of me recording it on Wednesday night. Nooms, you were here when I recorded it.
I was. That was a weird experience. That is not something we typically do. But
it's not something we typically do.
Me and him were both playing games at the same time, and he's like, "I gotta record the podcast real quick." And
I gotta record the podcast. It's Saturday night. I gotta record.
He's like, "Do you just want to stay on the line?" And I'm like, "I mean, I guess." And so that was weird, but hey, it worked.
You said you were going to interrupt in my ear when I was doing it, and then you never interrupted the whole time.
I didn't.
You were so patient.
I was.
Like 11 minutes and 40 seconds or whatever it was.
I muted and then just sat here and kept playing the Star Trek game that you forced me by gunpoint to.
I did. I forced you by phaser point. Phasers. We use phasers in this. I love it when I push it just a little too nerdy for Noobs, and it's like his soul like falls down into his legs, and his face goes white, and he's just like, I just died for a split second. Okay, I'm back now.
And it's been quite. We've spent more time together over the last couple of weeks on video chat than we have in years, and it's been really playing the game has done what I wanted, which was a rebonding experience for me and Billiam. But it's been he'll make a pun and I'll just sit there and go, all right, I'm going to bed. Like I can't with you no more. Like I'm gonna go get a drink.
Like, all right, it's about that time.
I'm gonna go get a drink. When I get back, you better be straight again, like, 'cause this was too far. Anywho.
Okay. It's time. We love you guys. Have a great week. Thank you for coming out. If you're watching this, later. You can catch the video version of the podcast on Wednesday night, 7:30 Central Standard Time, anywhere that you watched this, and come back and join us every Sunday night at 6:30. Well, I guess you can't say every Sunday night, but most Sunday nights at 6:30 Central Time. Sometimes we take a week off, like Easter, or when I'm sick, or Easter. Anyway, so so join us on Sunday nights, and we have our Discord server that I'm trying to work on, but come join our Discord server or something.
And I will maybe be streaming this week. I say that a lot and then never do. I looked back in the last so many months is just our church stuff on my page, and I'm like, I am doing a really bad job of being a Twitch streamer. This is why I can't be famous, is because
People are going
cannot.
to start thinking that this is Pastor Nooms.
That's the other reason I put the things on here.
Yeah.
Because I don't
So
need...
they'll know that you're Pastor Nooms and I am not.
Because I'm the uglier of the two.
I am Pastor Bill, also known as Theet. And you are Pastor Nooms, also known as Pastor Nooms.
I've started to switch pretty much everything to Pastor Nooms, which is just hilarious because it has started some conversations I did not expect to have. And like some of my friends have known I've been a pastor for years, but it's some of these conversations have just been humorous. And it's like, all right, I'm down.
I mean, we're 4 years in now, so
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
Mm.
Well, technically 3 with you as a pastor.
Yeah. I wasn't a pastor the whole time.
We're 4 years into the church. The church is 4 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool.
It is. All right.
All right. Well, we're going to do 30-second buffer now. So 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. Has it been 30 seconds yet? Of course not. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. When will this 30 seconds end? At 30 seconds, obviously.
30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer.
Have a great week. We love you. Good night.
Love you. Okay, I pressed